What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to YGOPD, your Yu-Gi-Oh! Professional Development. I hope you had a wonderful weekend last week, whether you celebrated the holiday or not. But either way, yesterday was actually my birthday, and I couldn't have asked for a better day. I had a chance to do a day trip to the 3v3 event out in Lexington, Ohio, and this was great. First semi-competitive event since the pandemic, and this is the kind of local 3v3 that DB Grinder covers a lot. He was there if you've seen that. Really cool to see him. There were a total of 18 teams. You'll see the info on screen here. 54 players, 4 rounds of Swiss, cutting to top 4 and then the final round. Our team was undefeated in Swiss and unfortunately got second place by losing in the final round. Our team had 300 in credit for second place, and the winning team got 450 in credit. My boy Grant was on Brave Prankids. I was player B in the middle on a spicy 40 card base list that I want to share with you guys today. And my friend Marlon was on Invoke Dogmatica. So it would be quite a lot to cover all the matchups, so I'll just showcase mine specifically here right on screen. Unfortunately, did though end up losing to Sky Striker in the final round. And of course, before we hop into it, huge shout out to Postboard Gaming for hosting the event. Absolutely amazing. My teammates, Grant and Marlon, and all of my friends who helped me gather a lot of this stuff leading up to the event. And of course, the biggest shout out to all of you, our new subs of the channel. And of course, with all of that said, let's go ahead and hop right into the deck profile. All right, we'll go ahead and hop into the main deck. I think it'll be easiest to do this in engines. And of course, what engine better to start with than the Brave engine? We have triple Water Enchantress, triple Right, and of course the one honorary name of Foolish Burial. These are your 7 1-card starters that get you to your Omni Negate in the form of Griffin. And of course we do play the 1 Griffin, the 1 Draco back, and the 1 Fateful Adventure. There's not really much to say here. This just insulates all your plays, and it did so much both going first and second. If this deck had a home, it feels way better in this than like even some of the other stuff I've tried with this engine in the past. It really feels good here. So that's the Brave package. We, of course, play just the 1 Scythe. That's all I was doing for the Artifact package. I didn't want to do a Lancey. I didn't want to do anything else. It was just kind of, you go through your combo, you see it, you get to set it, great. And worst case, if you don't, you don't. Just because, you know, things like Flunder and Eldritch and a few other decks are still around where this isn't too great. So I didn't want to make it too heavy of an investment like you see with some of the bigger Sky Striker builds that run Ignition, Sanctum, things like that. So 1 Scythe was perfectly fine. When it needed to happen, it was a complete blowout card. We did play the Souls engine in here. This was the most, I would say, MVP engine of the day. This did so much. This was by far my favorite thing the entire day. 3 Souls and 2 Illusion. This felt perfect. I didn't feel like I needed to up on Illusion. I didn't need to add any Right. This felt like the perfect amount, especially for a 40 card list. It just fixed so much with hands. Souls is such a great extender now that the Dark Charmer is a thing. Link Climbing, it just did so much for the deck. I cannot speak to this package as much as I can. And obviously on top of the Brave package just made it even more crazy. But the Souls package was by far my favorite thing of the entire day. I didn't have Illusions up until this event, so this was the first time I got to play with it, and it just felt incredible. Next, we play the Cybers engine. I wanted to opt for engines that by themselves are 1-card starters that obviously create either a negate or some form of disruption. And this package really took care of that really well in the form of 2 Dotscaper and 3 Cybers Gadget. I was originally just playing the 3 Gadget and 2 Mining. I didn't like the discard off of Mining. I wanted just the guaranteed normal summon, and I was just playing the 3 Gadget. But bumping this up to 5 gives you just over that 50% chance to see it. So you have a really good shot at, if you need to, just fixing your hand or drawing into it a little bit quicker with Souls. Since this is your only normal summon of the deck, if you draw into it later, it's not a big deal. But these are all 1-card combos that lead to a Scythe set and a DPE on board through both of these. And you can play Firewall Guardian or other things, but Cybers Gadget is the one you want to focus on because it plays around Bell the most. And cards like DD Crow as well, it plays around the most. Dotscaper is still fine though, just because it's probably the second best since it can be discarded and still trigger to come back as an extender. Onto the Sky Striker package. This was kind of maybe a little bit different from some of the 40 card based variants. I opted to play 1 Engage, 1 Hornet Drones, and 1 Widow Anchor. These two are, again, just another 1 card Anaconda, but also in this deck, I do play a little bit bigger maybe of a Sky Striker package in the extra than folks are used to. This is just really good utility going first or second to set up an extra interruption through Widow Anchor, or to kind of search this to help break boards mid-late game, and especially the extra draw off Engage really helps since you're dumping a lot of stuff with souls. But this was really solid all day. Again, help link climb the attributes, this being a dark token. Let the Dark Charmer again be a really big powerhouse throughout the event. But that's the Sky Striker package. And then not much to say here, but the obvious DPE package of 2 Fusion Destiny, 1 Celestial, and 1 Dasher. Not much to be said there. DPE is absolutely insane. And again, it feels even crazier in this blend specifically. So that's it for all the engines. The rest of the deck is kind of defensive cards, going second cards, that type of deal. So 3 Forbidden Droplet. Card was perfectly fine all day. Really like it. Synergizes well with the Enchantress stuff, the stuff you have on field. This was actually a really necessary tool based on how I built my deck for a card you'll kind of see at the end here. We played 2 Ash and 2 Bell. This was pretty standard. I think I kind of wish I saw more cards like this, almost having more Bell and even DD Crow. DD Crow was a card I cut from my side last minute, and I really wish I didn't. Just the graveyard disruption stuff was very relevant the entire day. So I feel like I would up the Bells and maybe add in Crows if I could. And then we play 2 Tactics. This was a card I also kind of wish I saw more of throughout the day. I just wanted some variance in my ability to disrupt, so I went for a couple different 2-ofs as opposed to just a couple 3-ofs. But Tactics was really crazy because everything is always ending on Griffin, or using Scythe on your turn, using DPE on your turn, activating Branded in Red to get Guardian Chimera on your turn. Like, there's always monster effects going off, and so this card just pushing through literally anything felt amazing all day. It's a really great card, this format. And then the crux and the biggest spice of how I build my deck, and this is the E part of our base, is the evenly matched Brave, Artifact, Souls, Sky Striker, Cyberse, wherever you want to put that S sound in there, evenly, and DPE. So evenly was absolutely amazing, an insane blowout card for Eldritch, for Sky Striker, and just for players that were unaware. So the theory behind this is, you're going first, going second, it's just a blowout. But going first, you make your board, you're clearing all your back row except for something like maybe Scythe with Souls to draw a lot of cards, hopefully into something like this. And then DPE is obviously clearing stuff on your board and your opponent's board. So by the time your opponent pushes through everything, your board is clear, you evenly them, and then you're in a simplified game state of DPE plus draw 2 to their 1 card. So this was incredible all day. I love this build just for the fact of Evenly's interaction with it. I would not take this out. This is by far, like, next to Souls, like, my favorite card of the deck. And it was so unexpected all day. It just did so much work. So that's it for the main deck. I'll go ahead and hop into the extra deck really quick here. We'll start with, again, just different packages, different engines. So for the Sky Striker piece, we play 1 Kagari, 1 Shizuku, 1 Hayate for the link ones. This is really all you need. This is the utility to get back engaged. This searches you the additional piece. And this is just the additional link down arrow to do the 1 card Verte combo by just using drones for Kagari, linking away into this, adding back, and then making Shizuku with the token again. You could play Kaina over this if you're concerned about not being able to attack direct in time. But again, Hayate or Kaina, whichever piece you prefer for doing stuff in time. But the Hayate dump is just, I think, a little bit more relevant overall. And we did actually play the 1 Zeke as well. This was way more relevant than I thought, since I played Sky Striker twice to take their links and link into my own Sky Striker stuff and not have to deal with triggering Ray. Felt really nice. But again, just another card that you can link climb to disrupt. Zeke, banish a monster, crash into something, and just another way to make sure your zones are clear for Evenly to be live. But it felt really good all day. Sky Striker package was definitely really solid, way more than I would have thought. For the Cybers package, we played 1 Link Disciple and 2 Link Devotee. You do need 2, unfortunately, for the combo. Because Link Devotee is a mandatory effect on summon, that is what triggers your Dagda to set Scythe, and then you use the remaining Dagda and Devotee to go into your Phoenix Enforcer. So it is needed, but I really like this package, and we'll probably keep it even if something like DPE or Scythe gets banned, and maybe focus more on IP, because the draw 1 and put 1 back under your deck was so relevant to fix broken hands. I drew souls more times than I can count off of this guy, which was absolutely nuts. But yeah, really incredible package there. And then that kind of goes along with that is the 1 Dagda and the 1 Anaconda, and of course the 1 Phoenix Enforcer. With that package, it's just, a 1-card combo to go through the line to get to DPE Scythe. Really powerful, really solid throughout the day. And then just the 1 Link Spider here was kind of just needed, since niche interactions would come up. If they slow down and ogre your Fateful, you still need a way to make an effect monster to, at least worst case, let them waste a hand trap and still go into a card like DPE is really powerful. So Link Spider was just a necessary piece of utility for the deck. And then the last piece of the deck here was the access code kind of charmer climbing engine piece, however you want to call it. We played 1 dark and 1 light charmer. These were kind of my 2 of choice. You could play different ones with the Sky Striker engine, since you have access to pretty much any attribute you want, but these felt the most relevant and the most consistent, given the fact of what the format looks like with Branded Despia, DPE, Eldritch, all that kind of stuff. These came up a lot throughout the day to take people's just literally like DPE, Golden Lord, different random things out of the grave, stealing Ray, things like that, to just continue climbing. And obviously being able to search souls off the Dark Charmer was really solid. I kind of wish I had a light target for Lina, but it never came up, so it's not a big deal. But just the main 2 in here for link climbing, and then the 1 Selene and the 1 access code. This really kind of made up for a lot of the deck's weaknesses, which is like the deck is really solid going first and pushing and creating a simplified game state, and then you just want to guarantee that you can close it out as quickly as possible. And so after creating that simplified game state with a card like Evenly, to then have DPE come back and just access code and just push to seal the deal is really solid. So that is it for the extra deck. And onto the side. The side is probably the weakest part of the day that I wish I had changed a little bit more. But regardless, I'll kind of do my going first cards and then my going second cards. 3 Anti-Spell. Loved it. Never saw it. Sided it in a lot of games. Never saw it. Never saw it both times against the Sky Striker player either. One time I did see it was when I forgot to take it out of my side and got a round 1 game loss for not taking out my side stuff, but still proceeded to 2-0 after that anyway. So it didn't really matter. But yeah, Anti-Spell. Solid card. Really good. D-Barrier. Also never really saw it. I kind of wish I did, but it never really came up. The one time I did play the Tenyi Sword Soul player, I had the Scythe Lock anyway, so it was kind of irrelevant at that point. Mainly in here to chain to a card like Branded in Red. If you like Griffin, Branded Fusion, they chain something like Branded in Red, then you can chain D-Barrier. So in theory, it's really solid, but again, just never really saw it. And then 3 Summon Limit. This was a card that I originally had as DD Crow, and I'm really kicking myself for not keeping Crow in. This card was horrid. I never wanted to go into it. And anytime I even thought about it, it just seemed terrible. So I didn't really want to bother with it. So yeah, definitely should still be DD Crow or literally anything else. So and then going second cards, Dark Ruler No More, mainly for just like established boards for turning off Mirror Jade, things like that. Specifically also helps with Flunder, but never saw that throughout the day, thankfully. So just, solid card. And then Triple Lightning Storm. This was probably the card I saw the most throughout the day and had the most utility. This was probably my favorite card of the side when it came up for things like Eldritch, Striker, and a few other decks that had happened throughout the day. But this was definitely the best piece of the day. So that is it for the deck. Second place, 3v3 big event, $300 second place team, 40 card based of God knows what you want to call it, But thank you all so much for watching. Really excited I had the chance to share this with you. Really great adventure, really great day. And I will be at the Columbus Regionals in Ohio next week. If you all are out there, feel free to stop by and say, hey, I'll probably make a video a little bit closer to that just to let folks know what's going on. But yeah, with all that said, thanks again so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Later.